So once you've imported the model, once you've baked it, once you've started actually painting it, applying materials to it, and then also procedural textures, like the stuff that we saw with the ambient occlusion going in the creases and getting grimy, chipping off the paint along the edges, you're going to want to add individual marks and things like that that make it look like this spaceship has been through battles and is tough. So let's take a look at some of the brushes and effects that you can add to this thing. I'm sharing my screen. We're going to go to Painter. This Painter, yeah. By the way, you might find yourself going, yeah, I use that orange paint. I don't like it anymore. Click on that ball right there and get to this little menu right here, and you can zip down and say, I want to change the color of my model to maybe, you know, like a, I don't know, battleship gray or something like that, something that looks a little tougher and more believable. For some reason, this menu, you have to shut the little button off. It's kind of driving me nuts there, but anyway. Let's take a look. Here's my Smart Materials folder. I'm just going to close that Smart Materials folder. Now if I say I want to add a new fill, it drops it into the Smart Materials. I don't want it in there. I want to be able to pull it out and have it be a separate thing. So I'm going to pull it up here. You can see I can pull it right to the top. Close up Smart Materials. Now I've got my layer by itself, my new fill layer, where I'm going to use my brushes. Come over here to the brushes menu in your material. There's your standard materials, there's your smart materials, smart masks, filters, and then you've also got your brushes, and there's all kinds of stuff over here. If you search for, say, scratches or cracks or dust or broken or whatever, you'll find a ton of cool stuff in here. So I kind of, I'm going to show you a few things, but I'm really hoping that you just go, I'm just going to go goof around. So for example, you can get to cracks. Where's my cracks menu? Did I already walk past it? Grrr. It's all alphabetical, so you can find it. Crystals, cracks. There's a couple of cracks right there. So if I come over here with a crack, look at the size of that brush. Use your bracket key to shrink your brush until it looks kind of believable, and then plop that on there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? What's even more amazing is that once I do that, and then I roll my light source over that, it looks, wouldn't you swear that that's actually cracks in the geometry? Like I've actually broken the surface. I haven't. This is simply a brush that's on layer 1. I can shut it off just like that. So it's kind of cool in terms of what it does. You'll notice the little orange button down here on the menus tell you that it's dynamic stroke compatible, which is to say that it will pick up those kinds of effects. So there's a whole bunch of things in here that are kind of sweet. I recommend that you go play with those things. A couple of the places, if you say, oh, I'm going to go find my scratches. I've already passed it. So you can type in scratches as well. You can search right here and say, and there's a whole bunch of scratches. Kyle Webster does a bunch of beautiful scratches, basically all these brushes for them. And so if you find something that says Kyle's brushes, you're in pretty good shape. Here's my scratches menu. Maybe I'm happy with that size. Maybe I think it's a little bit too big. I'm also over here in my properties menu just looking at the material saying, oh right, maybe I do want to change the color of that thing, that I don't want it to be painting with a particular color. So you can go play with that a little bit. I'm not having any luck finding that. But anyway, it's because I don't have color turned on. Color. Now I can change my color. Let's say I want to paint with, you know, blue scratches because I scratched into something. Wow, that's a crazy hot color. I crashed into something that was kind of blue and scratchy. So I'm scratching those guys onto there, and it's got kind of a bluish color attached to it as I'm adding that in there. So you can do a lot of very interesting and cool things with brushes and effects that will only happen in certain areas. In other words, they're not overall the entire model. This is really more painting and kind of, you know, adding individual texture. If you find yourself saying, oh, it's happening on both sides of my model, go back and watch the first video about how to import your model. Sorry to say, but it's not working properly. I hope that's been fun for you. It's been kind of a blast for me. I've learned a ton. I look forward to seeing what you make with your cool painter project. See you.